This new El Nino forecast is showing more strength, and the WMO is expecting this to intensify. This will change our weather patterns all the way towards spring, everybody. So I'm going to show you in the latest weather forecast what this weather pattern is about to do all the way from now all the way towards spring. And 5 out of 8 times that we have a strong El Nino, usually we go right back into La Nina, everyone. Now you can see the latest update that we still have all this subsurface heat moving through the central and eastern Pacific. Also, if you look at the isotherm, the colder temperatures, you can see they're getting suppressed way down while the warmer temperatures prevail. This also affects sea life. Remember that. Now, this is going to take weeks, even months for this to feed the El Nino weather pattern, and this is where everything is going to strengthen all the way towards spring. So you can see this from a diagram here. It pushes a colder air deeper, and this warm Kelvin wave pushes even further into the Pacific and just creating a lot of warmth. Also, the cold water upwelling is restricted. It upwells warmer temperatures. Now, not only does this mess with marine life impacts, this is going to mess with your crops as well. So just in category for your food, this El Nino is going to bring some big impacts just on that area. And you can see the steps here. So you go from a warmer surface temperature, upwelling weakens, so you have fewer nutrients. The plankton declines, the fish move on or decline, and the seabirds and marine mammals lose food as well. So altogether, it ruins the food chain. Now, the WMO put this out at the very end of July, where they're expecting El Nino to intensify. Now, I have these reports down below with the links in the description. You can go read them. I have multiple reports for you to read. And you can see that they're expecting this to intensify from August all the way towards October. Now, just like the report before, this is going to bring a lot of flooding in certain areas, a lot of drought and wildfires in certain areas as well. And showing not only for a super El Nino to be at that 2 degrees Celsius above average, showing they're expected to exceed 2.9 degrees Celsius in key regions. So this is going to be a very warm and a very strong El Nino. And you can see the ensembles that they put out, showing all the way, instead of just a 2 for a strong El Nino, showing this is going to be a very strong to a super El Nino and rising way up towards potentially a 3, everybody. This grouping is right in the center of there, if not a little bit above and a little bit below. Showing in the latest post they put yesterday, they're expecting it to peak right around November. Now, the next update we're going to get is going to be in September. So with the updated information, I have new information for you on the impacts and the weather patterns we're going into. So with the new signal that the WMO is seeing from August all the way towards October, you have a strong weather signal across the northwest, but especially across the southwest. Now, this is going to bring cooler temperatures towards the northwest as well. Also, going from late fall into winter, this is where your subtropical jet strengthens, brings not only southern storms, but also into winter where it brings chances for snow. And I'm still showing in the information that as we go through from October, November into December, this is where we still have chance for late formation into the Gulf and the southeastern U.S. as we go through the rest of hurricane season. Now, we also got a new plume from the Euro for August of what we can expect. And it's gotten stronger, everybody. So just so you know what you're looking at for those that have never been here, when you go towards a 2 degrees Celsius above normal temperatures into the Pacific, this is where everything starts strengthening on the El Nino impacts and El Nino weather patterns. This is a super El Nino once you go for a 2 degrees, showing that we will be at least at a 2 to a 3 as we go all the way from the end of September and climbing. Look at this. The plume is more confident right here that we're going somewheres in between a middle of a 3. So this is what we got for July. Look as we go through for August. The update confirms that this is really strong, showing it's going all the way up. It's going to intensify as we go through for October, November, even into December. Is going to keep getting stronger, potentially reaching the high 3s, maybe even trying to hit that 4. Then as we go towards January into February, still showing we're going to be in super El Nino status all the way towards March at least. Now, usually when you have a intensifying El Nino like this and it strengthens very strong, it also goes down very quickly as well. So this is what you typically can see as we go through this winter. Now, For the northern side of the lower 48, you're above average in your temperatures for an El Nino forecast. I forecasted that before as well. That don't mean you're going to stay warmer the whole time. You are going to have cold spills come through, and that's where it taps into the southern jet stream, because the southern jet stream is going to be there and stay strong. That's where you have the chance for the southern snow and ice. So chances for snow, of course, to the north, you have lower than average snowfall. So for those that use that to help support your family, to bring in your income, be aware it could be a low season this year. So when it does hit, you better go quickly and go get that money, because it's going to be probably a while before it cools down enough for another snowstorm. For the northeast, overall, it is going to be a little bit lower, but the snow trends also for 1 to 2 nor'easters are possible. I'm showing maybe even more. I'm still showing we have a lot of chances for storms to form as we go through from November, December, especially into January, across the southeast and the east coast. That will bring your nor'easters all the way towards December, January, even February. Also for the Pacific Northwest, it is reduced overall on your snowfall because it'll be warmer and a lower elevation rain mixture that's happening in the weather pattern. You will see snow, but it will be lower overall. Now, the southern half of the lower 48 still showing as it taps into this jet stream, it's still going to be above average in precipitation, because this is going to bring all these southern storms, and this is where you're going to be above average for the winter, because occasionally it will tap into that jet stream with the cold air that comes through. Now, I showed this many times, and you can still see it is still trending, everybody. So as you look with your can ships for your monthly temperatures, you can see as you go through for August, you get below average as you getting those fronts coming through. Remember that. As you go through for September, that's going to lower. As you go through October, that's going to lower. So we're going to see our jet stream goes lower and lower, bringing cooler fronts. But I'm also showing we're going to get a ridging at the end of August. So I will show you that. Then as we go through for November, showing a below average anomaly kicking in for the central U.S. all the way through December, January, that strengthens, and for January into February. Now, even though storms will bring you below average temperatures as well. As we go on through December, January into February, this is where colder air spills through occasionally as well. So this is where you have a great chance to get snowfall or ice coming through more central and southern U.S. And still showing as we go through for March that we're going to be average to below average across the south. So when you look at another factor, you look at your pressure. So remember this. So as we go from July into August, you can see that we have lower than average pressure across the western U.S. This is where our storms come in from a low trough across the northwest, but also that subtropical jet kicking in. And you can see across the south and the southeast, lower than average pressure. Then as you go from August to September, that intensifies. October and November. So these storms are going to stay with the subtropical jet for quite some time, bringing flooding, bringing rainfall. But as we go through for November into December, it intensifies and gets strong also for January. So as we're getting below average temperatures, below average pressure, we're getting storms and above average precipitation. So that's going to bring for a lot of chances for snow and ice. Also for February, it's going to stay there, even into March, where things are going to start changing. I think it's going to be a late spring, and I think it's going to be a long and hard winter. And you can see the impacts from the lower than average pressure when you look at your precipitation. So as we go through August into September, you can see that above average precipitation kick in all the way from California, all the way across the southern and eastern U.S. from the subtropical jet. Also, through October, November, and December is going to stay in this weather pattern. So now you're getting occasional cold fronts coming through, bringing that mixture. And it will last all the way towards January into February, where it starts changing with how much precipitation we get, just getting more colder spills without getting a lot of precipitation possibly. And as we go through March, and it is trending, you can see here also with the Euro. So as we check with our temperature anomaly, as we go through October into November, you can see the average to a little bit below average across the south. This is going to be from storms, not from cold blasts bringing cold air south. This is going to be from storms. As you go through from November into December, you still have an average to a big below average anomaly across the south. So now your jet streams possibly are getting cold air involved in some of that as you go through for January, and February is going to be there as well. Just showing a colder anomaly across the southern half of the lower 48. Now that's temperatures. When you look at your pressure, you can see this also with the Euro. As you come from August into September, you get that below average pressure across the southwest, across the southeast. As you go through for October, November, and December, that greatly intensifies, showing we're going to get a lot of storms that's going to build up from the southwest, coming across from the southeast, bringing a lot of storms, rainfall, but also a lot of chances for this snow and ice, everybody. Look, all the way through January into February is going to be there as well, just showing a long and hard winter is coming. Please heed this warning. This is trending, and I've been showing this many times. Now the Euro is getting agreeable with the canned ships. In fact, you can see here from Climate Prediction Center that they are expecting a 97% chance that it will persist through early spring of 2027. Now, this is also bringing rainfall shifts. So places that don't get a lot of rainfall is going to get a lot of heavy rainfall. It's going to bring big problems. And places that get a lot of rainfall, it's hardly going to get any. So what you're going to have is wetter than normal. The Greater Horn of Africa, parts of Central Asia, Southern Europe, Western North America south of 45 degrees north, southeastern South America. Drier than normal, India and surrounding parts of South Asia, southern and eastern Australia, southern Central America, parts of the Caribbean, and the northwestern South America. Now this is from August all the way towards October. At the same time, while this brings suppressed rainfall and drought, crop stress, and wildfires over India, Indonesia, and Australia, this also brings more tropical moisture towards Eastern Africa. Now over here by Western Africa, we're still showing it's going to be a lot of dry air, a lot of dust still coming off the coast of Africa and suppressing our hurricane season with all this shear that's coming across as well. And you can see this on the latest velocity potential anomaly, showing that we have all this sinking air, unfavorable environment coming off the coast of Africa all through the MDR all the way towards the middle of September. And I'm still showing that everything's not only going to be into the Pacific with our hurricane season, everyone knows this because of the El Nino, but if you look at Central America and go northern, you can see that there's going to be a few times where it's going to be a few days at a time where we're going to have stronger chances for something to form, showing still this is the Gulf, the Western Caribbean, also going right along the East Coast. So I'm still showing hurricane season is going to be along that front that we need to be aware of. Now, this right here is the control member. This is your more than likely outcome right now. But if you look up here, you'll see there are 50 members. And if you look at this and you look through these members, you actually see some of them show a lot of intensity coming across, a lot of favorable environment for hurricane season. You see this? A lot of them is showing a big chance for hurricane season to change as we go through the end of August right into September. So look at these. These are the members that we're getting the average from. So it's not just one little picture map that's saying, hey, this is going to be suppressed the whole time. It's saying this is your more than likely outcome. We only going through half of the members, and you can already see some strong points going through these members, everybody. So this is the average. This is our more than likely outcome. This is our control member right now. So I'm still showing we need to watch these areas because they could strengthen a little bit more like we're seeing in these other members, everyone. Please remember that. Now, another thing, a very strong El Nino, a super El Nino, brings strong agricultural impacts as well. Now, I have these links in the description once again for you to go read and see for yourself from the Food and Agricultural Organization of the United Nations, showing that we'll bring a lot of impacts on the food and crops. Now, crop damage, the food that goes on the plate of your house, depends on the timing. Is it growing or is it harvest season? Now, when Super El Nino, this brings a drought hazard. So it all depends on whether it's planting, pollinating, or harvest season. This is where the major damage can happen. Plus, a Super El Nino brings a flood hazard. So also on planting, on growth, and on harvest, this will bring different impacts to different countries. So here's what you got to watch out for on these crops. So for rice, there's drought during planting and flowering possibilities. Also for flooding, deep, fast-moving, or prolonged flooding can destroy the crops. Soybeans, Brazilian heat and drought, plus water logging and harvest losses further south. Maize and corn, extreme drought and heat sensitivity during pollination, plus highest concern, Southern Africa, Central America, and parts of Asia. Coffee, cocoa, and palm oil. Drought reduces flowering and fruit development, but flooding raises root rot and disease risk. Also the wheat, Australian drought, and excessive rain near harvest in southern South America. And fruits and vegetables. Flooding causes root suffocation, fungal disease, and fruit splitting. But complete loss is possible in low-lying fields. Now, another factor is next hurricane season, everybody, because what goes up fast also comes down fast when it comes to a super El Nino. 5 out of 8 times strong El Ninos since 1950 were followed by a La Nina, everyone. Now, this isn't guaranteed by NOAA just yet. I will keep you updated, but you can see after you go by winter into spring, El Nino starts weakening, then it's neutral as we go through the transitional period. Then next summer or fall, we could be looking at a La Nina. And for those that don't know, because El Nino has been talked about so much for so long, La Nina is exactly the opposite. As you know, hurricane season strengthens for the Caribbean and the Atlantic side of hurricane season. Also, the northern plains, upper Midwest, colder outbreaks and more snow. So next winter, not this winter, coming. Also, Great Lakes, more lake effect snow because it was warmer lakes. Plus, for the Pacific Northwest, northern Rockies, wetter, cooler, and snowier for next winter. Possibly now. We need to make sure this is going towards a La Nina. And of course, less tropical activity into the Pacific. But for the southern U.S., warmer and drier conditions where drought and wildfire risk may occur. And for the southeast, late to winter, spring, severe storms, and a tornado risk. So all the severe weather is going to come back very strong. And that is your latest weather forecast of what is happening around the corner, not only with your weather pattern, what is this El Nino doing, and the impacts, especially as we go through this winter and confirming into spring, everyone. If you find this information helpful or useful in any way, please think about other nice families just like yours and share this information on other platforms. Let them see it. Thank you so much for your help. Now, before I go, a quick word from our Father, everybody. 2 Timothy 4, 2 through 7. Preach the word. Be instant in season, out of season. Reprove, rebuke, exhort with all long suffering and doctrine. For the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine, but after their own lusts shall they heap to themselves teachers, having itching ears. And they shall turn away their ears from the truth, and shall be turned unto fables. But watch thou in all doings, endure afflictions, do the work of an evangelist, make full proof of thy ministry. For I am now ready to be offered, and the time of my departure is at hand. I have fought a good fight. I have finished my course. I have kept the faith. Amen. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you again for your time. Tell me which part was your best part of the video of what this El Nino is doing. Above all things, remember all glory does go to God, our Father in heaven, Yahweh. And I always hope he keeps you safe every single day of your life and forever. Amen. Hallelujah. Amen. Have a great day, everybody.